My AmeriCorps year at Study Circles program occurred during a time where the country exploded. It seemed like every day there was a different racial incident happening. Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Eric Garner, Walter Scott, and the list goes on. At Study Circles, we talk about race, and that is not an easy thing to talk about. Some of our participants believe racism is a conspiracy used as a facade in order to block the real truth of classism, while others believe that racism is about the issues of those people. No matter how much information nor how many perspectives that we share, some people just refuse to see racism at all. This notion really frustrated me through my service year. I always thought, how can we fix the achievement gap if we can't even talk about race? Everyone talks about the achievement gap, the gap between blacks and Latinos and their white and Asian counterparts. It's as if there are walls, roadblocks, checkpoints that just stop kids from being successful. How can we make these walls visible? And how can we find the keys to unlock these doors for these children if we can't even talk about it? George Washington Carver once said, "Education is the key to unlock the golden door of freedom." During my service year, I have learned that in order to unlock the pathway of freedom, you must possess the key. But the education system is a locked door. Some have keys and others have crowbars. That is why I have decided to become a locksmith for change. I did not always want this job. It wasn't until I met Paul and having the opportunity to share our work in Israel that I came to this realization. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, Jamarcus, Ben, and I were in Israel, giving a presentation to young Palestinian and Israeli peace activists. Who would have ever thought that we could afford to do this on our AmeriCorps budget? And let me tell you, I fell in love with falafels there, and I'm still looking for them. And if anyone knows where I can get a Gold Star beer, let me know. My most memorable experience there was meeting a young Palestinian man in the West Bank who told me his story, how he grew up in Palestine, and how he had never once been across the checkpoint into Israel. I was very confused. How could you live 15 minutes from somewhere and never be permitted to go there? I struggled to understand how this checkpoint, a physical barrier, kept people apart. I instantly had an aha moment. What is hidden in America is here in plain sight: walls, barriers, and checkpoints. Only in America, the checkpoint is invisible. It's called the achievement gap. A barrier that only permits students through who have been able to fuse with the melting pot of American identity. But it is not just barriers that kept people apart, but the system that reinforces the mortar that keeps these walls together. My whole life has been about prying open closed doors, allowing my education to be my crowbar and my family my leverage, as I walked into rooms that I was not supposed to be in. For a long time, I thought I could help people if I supplied them with enough crowbars, provide them with enough information, equip them with enough support in order so that they can walk through the doors of success. However, as long as we keep rebuilding the same oppressive systems, you will never open enough doors to enough people. After going to Israel, I realized breaking down barriers and unlocking doors is not just something that makes America a better place, but makes the world a better place. That is why next year, I made the conscious decision to become a teacher, a locksmith for education, at KIPP Discover Academy in Anacostia, so that I can help young children break down the door of freedom. I started this year frustrated and feeling hopeless, but I'm ending this year realizing that there are many doors that need to be opening and many systems that need dismantling. Now I am ready to use my tools to be a locksmith for change, opening the doors of freedom. And maybe one day we won't need doors or keys at all. Maybe one day we'll stop building the walls and remove the last vestiges of racism that hold us all back. I want to thank Study Circles and everyone, John Landsman, my boss, Yesenia, Escolastico and Dina Kune for teaching me so much about the importance of dialogue and how dialogue really does change things, because we can't fix something if we don't talk about it, right? So I just want to thank them for that, and thank my colleague Jamarcus Booker and Benjamin Eichberg for traveling to Israel with me and allowing me to share our work with young Palestinian and Israeli students and activists. Thank you.